tried the mindset, you've tried the maps, but something still slips through the gaps. Too much air and you float away. Too much earth and you stall. The flow isn't flowing and it's barely a crawl. You've got the passion, you've got the drive, but your business still doesn't feel fully alive. That's where the star line starts to speak, a 5-pointed code that lights up the dark. Each point holds a piece of your way to succeed, rooted in elements your energy needs. Soul at the top, your ether, your truth, then fire and air, your vision, your moves, then water and earth, the systems that hold, not just to survive, but to circulate gold. It's how structure meets soul, how design meets desire, a framework that fuels your inner fire. Let's get into it. Most people are building their businesses on incomplete, partial power sources, if you will. Some kind of strategies pieced together, but they don't really fit each other. They don't fit you. Maybe you have systems that aren't really holding, vibes that are just not really landing. And it's because they're missing the basic building blocks, not the business basics, but the elemental ones. I'm talking about the 5 building blocks of everything in nature. And that is the 5 elements of ether, fire, air, water, and earth. I'm presencing these because if you're listening, you're probably a business owner, and these are just as essential to your business as they are to absolutely anything and everything else. Your body, your mood, your magic, everything is rooted in the combination of these 5 elemental forces to create the holistic picture and experience of this reality and anything inside of it. So, because of that, when even one of them is out of sync or off, everything feels off because they all need to be working together. When they are, and when all 5 are flowing together, that is where you get the polarities integrating of strategy meeting soul, and your business can truly move in the direction that feels aligned and take off. Now, this is something that has always felt so intuitive to me. Maybe it's my Scorpio South Node witchy background, but these are those elemental basic building blocks of magic, of alchemy, of everything. And eventually, I translated this that has always guided how I approach things and how I guide my clients through experience and transformation in my offerings into what I'm now calling the Starline method. This is the signature framework behind everything I teach and is that 5-pointed path that weaves through, like I said, every offer, every way that I teach and coach people. And it's how I guide other soul led entrepreneurs to build aligned, sustainable businesses that actually fit. When I say fit, both fit them, how they are, how you are unique and different, but also fit in the scheme of the natural law building blocks of the 5 elements that make up this realm that we are creating inside of. Let's break it down. In this episode, we are going to explore the surprising reason your flow keeps short circuiting, why strategies that work for others fall flat for you, what most aligned businesses are still missing, the 5 elemental codes that create sustainable success, how to stop choosing between structure and soul, and what opens when your business actually fits your energy. I started this off by talking about how so many business owners are building their vision through the vehicle of their business on partial power. This creates something that I've seen so often, was so familiar to me when clients used to come when I was a tax preparer, that I am now calling the fragmented hustle. They're trying, they're really putting in the effort, but there's missing pieces. They don't have that five angled strategy to make it holistic, whole. There's a fragmentation that makes it feel like hustle instead of flow. That's because most soul led entrepreneurs are missing more than just the strategy or the support or the alignment. They're missing the integration of these five critical elemental pieces that need to be a part of the equation, both for you to feel fulfilled internally and to be successful externally. Some focus mostly on the practical side of things, right? They're chasing habit and compliance and the goal setting, and they're really focusing on more of the rules of the game, the formulas for success. But they end up burning out because those systems aren't actually aligned with their energy and who they are, what works for them. So they're following other people's formulas, prescriptions to try to play the rules of the game like they're supposed to, like good little business owners, but again, they burn out because it's not actually the way that they're designed to do things. Others, which is more of the people I tend to attract, are people that have already gone all in on their healing journey, their manifestation. They know to some extent their design. They're very tuned into their intuition and feeling into their feelings, their motivation, really going with the flow of their inner world. That's kind of what guides or directs them in terms of how they show up for their business. And those people end up stalling out, not reaching the success that they would like to, often feeling like a failure in terms of the actual success of what they're doing because they don't have the structure of a clear container to actually hold their magic. And so those are those two, the polarity, duality of people often leaning one way or the other. Even for the people that have made some progress in blending the two, the approach still doesn't match their wiring. And that's that top point of the star, the alignment piece, so that even though they're not really neglecting one side or the other of that equation, they're still, again, not doing it their way. So it never really clicks. Wherever you land on this triangular spectrum that I was just talking about, these three aspects of being grounded in structure, connected to your more feminine flow, and also aligned with your design, here's what's been missing. And that is that five elemental building block synthesis that makes that five-pointed star of the Starline method. That is what actually powers everything in nature. And so obviously powers your business too. In case it's not obvious already, this isn't just some modern productivity hack, like something that I came up with. This is ancient magic. This is rooted in the principles of alchemy, where every spell, every ritual, any true transformation, intentional transformation, is always working through all five elements of ether, fire, air, water, and earth. Again, if you leave even one of them out, it won't hold. It won't have nearly the impact that it would, because when you bring them all together, it's something greater than the sum of the parts that becomes possible and available in that space. Of course, this is something we want inside of our business too. So the Starline method is how I've brought all of that ancient truth and magic and presence into modern business context so that it becomes this full spectrum framework that integrates the energetic design with the strategic structure and the systems, and rooted in all five of the elements. So this is more than just a business system. This is, again, a full spectrum approach, a method. It's my signature method. It's this star map that really simplifies your understanding of and reminder to connect to all five elements in whatever work that you're doing. By using that map, you can align every aspect of your work. Obviously, I focus more on the money flow side of things, but whether it's offer creation or back end operations, whatever it is, being connected to, being aware of, and in consideration of including all five elements, all five areas or qualities of focus is how you make sure that you are magically aligned. And again, that you're able to move in the direction of both inner fulfillment and outer success through that alignment. And built into this is, I keep saying alignment, that it fits. It's so important that anything that you do and the way that you do it fits both with you and how you are, but also how the world works, made up of these five elements. Whether it's money or any other part of your business, it can't flow if it's not fully formed. We're going to start at the top of the star with the alignment piece. This is the fifth element, the ether element, the soul of your business, or whatever it is that you're applying this to. When that piece is missing, it ends up feeling like you're doing things out of obligation, and it feels like self-abandonment because you are trying to do things in a way that are just not aligned with your design. So you're abandoning yourself, your soul, your design to do things in a way that are misaligned with you. Whereas when alignment clicks in, when you're connected with that top point of the star, you're actually moving from your essence. You're clear on your why, your purpose that's driving you. It's actually aligned with your design, which is how you were imprinted the moment that you took your first breath, of how energy is meant to move through you and ground into this realm. And so you start to move in a way where you're on purpose with how you're serving, showing up, and what you're building to serve through. And you're doing it in a way that matches your design, that feels like flow, that feels like you were designed specifically for the role. It's like you align with both the role that is yours to play and the way that you are meant to show up for that. Everything just feels more on point. I start with this one because this should be the starting point for anything. And with the Starline method, it always is. We start with what is your unique angle? What's going to be important to you? What do you need to know before you get distracted by any of the other details that make sure that you are going to stay connected with and prioritizing and basically setting as a foundation, even though we're talking about the top point of the star, your unique design. So critically important before you get any kind of habits or systems in place, that you make sure that you're building them around your design, the codes of your astrology chart that are relevant, the purpose that is reflected in your chart, and essentially your unique natural blueprint. And then everything else is built from there. Now we move into the next 2 points of the star, the ones that look like the arms. This is the masculine axis, if you will, of the star, where we're going to move into the 2 masculine elements, starting with fire. This is the applied point of the star, the fire element, where we bring in strategy. We started with the alignment piece, and only from that foundation do we then craft a strategy that is aligned with our cosmic codes, our design. When this piece is missing, which is often the case with the people that I serve, they haven't put as much time and energy into the strategy side. Oftentimes because when they have in the past, they've got a little bit of PTSD around strategy because they've tried to implement other people's strategies that were never designed to work for how they are. So when this piece is missing, it ends up feeling like you're just being blown around by the wind of ideas without actually grounding with traction. It feels like you're spinning wheels because nothing really takes hold. or you end up just procrastinating what you really need to do to make your business real and really successful. You tell yourself that you're just in the visionary space, you're dreaming, because you haven't been able to see a clear pathway whereby your design shapes the structure that you then commit to. When that happens, it doesn't feel forced and it doesn't feel like entrapment. The structure that you build feels like it holds you and it supports you because it was designed for you and it fits how you are. So you're able to fortify a strategy and a structure that is actually like a crystallization of your vision and what you really want to see and what you are just a natural fuck yes to show up for because it's yours. I'll end this point of the star by saying that alignment without action and strategy is just a vibe, and vibes do not pay the bills. So, this is your focused flame where you turn your vision into intentional motion. Then, the other arm of the star, the other masculine element is air. This is the automated point of the star and the 5-pointed star line method. This is where the actual systems come in. When this isn't in place, we talked about in the last one about the strategy, making sure that whatever structure you're aiming for is aligned with your unique design. And then you're able to automate that into repeatable systems. This is the other half of what holds you, the structure that supports you. It's so important to have systems to lean on because when those are in place, you get decision fatigue, which can feel really overwhelming and cause burnout because it just takes so much mental energy. You feel disorganized, and there's just like obstacles and bottlenecks that happen that make everything feel heavier and take longer than they need to. Whereas, and if you haven't already listened to my episode about SOPs and how magical they are, standard operating procedures, otherwise known as sacred operating pathways. Check that episode out. Such a good listen. In any case, when you have these systems in place, you feel light. I'm not just talking about actual tech automations. If you've been in my world for long, you know that I talk about automation in such a broader way. It's the templates that we create, even mindsets, like the mental programming around knowing where to lean and what to focus on. It's your to-do list. It's how you budget your time. It's anything that you create that you are able to iterate on and repeat so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. So you're setting yourself up for ease and to focus on what you really need to, the creative side of it, the serving your clients, the parts that your business really needs from you instead of having to basically play robot and have to keep doing the same thing over and over again when there could be a system for that. So it's the SOPs, those sacred operating pathways, those checklists and to-dos that guide you. It's the templates that you create so that anything you create takes less time after the first time. And then it is the actual automations that you set up that do things on your behalf, rinse and repeat because you've already decided how you want it to run and it runs for you. Remember with air that it is not meant to feel cold or stifling in any way. It is meant to feel like a breath, breathable, a breath of fresh air. It's all about creating structure through systems that enact the strategies that are guided by and rooted in your soul design and essence to actually free your energy to focus on what makes you come alive. Before we move on to the last two bottom points of the star, I want to take a quick sidebar here to acknowledge that, let's be real. If you have tried to get your financial shit together before and it hasn't worked, if you've tried spreadsheets with the best of intentions, but you never return to them, if you've told yourself so many times, oh, I'm going to start tracking things next month, or after every tax return that you scramble to file, you tell yourself, I'm going to do better next time, starting the next new year, I'm going to start keeping records, and it just never takes hold. You never get the systems and practices in place to support you around the money side of your business. If you have been trying to manifest abundance, but doing so is like pushing through this very real cement ceiling of avoidance. And no matter how much effort and time and best of intentions you put into the thing, your money stuff still feels like a mess. I want you to know it's not because you're lazy or there is anything at all wrong with you. It's because, just like we've been talking about, the systems you've been handed or tried to implement to get right with your money stuff just don't fit. They don't fit nature or natural law, and they don't fit you and your wiring. They were built for somebody else, and they're not designed to work for you. It's no surprise that every time you've tried to plug yourself into them, your flow short circuits, it completely turns you off, and your confidence tanks, and you're still not doing the thing. I'm sure I don't have to be the one to tell you that that wobble that you feel, that uncertainty that haunts you around the very important money lifeline of your business, it bleeds into everything else. Whether you're looking right at it or giving it a nice comfy seat, elephant-sized seat in the room so that you don't have to, it's getting in the way. But imagine this instead. Imagine having a money system that actually fits you because it was designed for you. It honors your rhythm, your nervous system needs, and most importantly, your astrology chart, the reflection of your design. The numbers actually make sense to you. They've been simplified and demystified. The practices feel sacred. They actually feel like magic to show up for. And your money relationship stops being the thing you avoid and starts being a source of security that you actually look forward to leaning into and showing up for. That is what we build inside of Cosmic Currency. It's not mindset only, though getting your cosmic codes goes a long way to make you actually want to show up for this stuff. It's not just spreadsheets and compliance, though my almost decade background in this stuff, combined with my Virgo moon that just loves to make these things super accessible for you, is part of it too. It is the full elemental spectrum that we are talking about in this episode. It blends the practical tools that you need with the cosmic alignment you've been craving so that your money flow finally matches your magic. If this sounds like just the direction you would like to lean in around what we're talking about here, if your relationship with money is what you want to apply this 5-pointed full elemental spectrum method to, then go to cosmicbee.link/currency for my signature program that is bringing these two worlds together, as above, so below, the cosmic codes and the practical resources to completely transform your relationship with money in the best way. That link again is cosmicbee.link/currency. Now, moving on to the fourth point of the star, one of the two of the grounding feminine elements, we move to water and sustainability. This is the abundant point of the star that is so important for you to be able to stay the course, play the long game, and for it to make sense to continue showing up for your business. This is the difference between it just being a hobby or a side hustle and it becoming your main focus and what liberates you to pour your heart and time and dedication into your service, your purpose, what you're doing inside of your business. When this piece is missing, it feels like a feast or famine, an unreliable roller coaster. Your nervous system goes haywire because you can't rely on it to support you financially. You may end up developing resentment toward your business, experiencing burnout, maybe over and over, and feeling like you constantly need to manifest a miracle instead of being able to rely on the financial flow of your business to fund your life. However, when the water piece clicks into place, you create circulation, you create reliable currency flow. Your money flows in and out. You're aware of how your money's flowing in and out and how much is left over to invest in other things and to scale and grow into your bigger visions for your life. That money flow feels nourishing instead of draining. This is where your pricing and your profits meet your needs and your nervous system. They are all symbiotically supporting each other, and where it becomes not just about making money, but being able to hold it, to grow it, and to actually apply it to enjoying it. Lastly, the other feminine element, bottom point of the star, is the earth element. This is where we feel secure. This is the anchored point of the star, which is also just like the other four, so important. When this piece is missing, you end up feeling like you're scrambling. You might be in a very reactionary place, showing up for the things that feel like fixes to the problems. That would be like the more anxious attachment side of things, or you may be in more of an avoidant relationship to your money or whatever aspect of your business you're applying this to. And you end up just feeling disembodied, maybe feeling like an imposter or a fraud. Why isn't what I'm doing working? Why don't I feel safe inside of it? Why doesn't it feel like it's holding me? Feeling like a real business might just feel always out of reach, which is absolutely exhausting. On the flip side, when that earth point clicks into place, you have grounding rhythms that you can rely on and lean into. You have clear boundaries that support the success of your pulsing, breathing, growing business entity. You have a sense of real trust in the foundation of your business, in yourself, and in life to be supporting you as you show up with your gifts and your passion for your work in the world. This is where the magic roots into the material. This is where everything feels like magic. This is where the mundane gets infused with soul. The spreadsheets even feel like something you want to lean into, especially the ones inside Cosmic Currency. Compliance even feels calming instead of it being something that you never measure up with and are always afraid you might get found out around. You actually feel proud and empowered for having all of your ducks in a row, I's dotted, T's crossed. You have and know how to use the real life tools that you also actually want to use. This brings us to the real magic that is so much greater than the sum of the parts, which is when you integrate all five elements, all 5 points of the star, aligned soul, applied strategy, automated systems, anchored security, and the flow of abundant sustainability. All five start working together to not just support your business, but actually become your business and the engine behind it and the magic inside of it and the overflow that then pours out into the world and the people and the clients that you touch. I I hope this breakdown helped you to see that soul and strategy are not meant to be separate. Flow and form, all of these dualistic two halves of the equation want to be synthesized and integrated into a symbiosis that is where the magic comes from. This approach is how you stop piecing things together and start building a business entity that truly feels alive, that is aligned, and that is actually built to last, to meet your needs, and to take you the distance. You weren't meant to build your business piecemeal, pulling from all sorts of different methods and hoping that you can fuse them together, that you'll find the best of multiple worlds of other people's realities. No, you were meant to create something coherent that starts with you and how you are and builds and grows from there. And something that not only flows with your energy, but also aligns with this basic elemental architecture of absolutely everything. When your business actually honors those five forces that shape this world that we live in, ether, fire, air, water, earth, it doesn't just work better, it becomes a magical vessel for your vision to ground into the reality of your business, a financially vital business that funds your life now and continues to take you forward and to actualize and realize the visions and desires that you want to bring to your now. This Starline method is not just a framework in this way, it truly is a remembering of who you are and where you come from. So, if you are ready to stop forcing what doesn't fit, especially around the money stuff, which is the most commonly avoided but most important part of a vital business, and you want to start building a relationship with your money that you can actually trust, go save your spot for Cosmic Currency that bridges all of this together for you at cosmicbee.link/currency. When all five of these things click into place, everything moves.